What's good, everybody? It's your boy Server Air 405. This is the Final Four Sports Program. And obviously, I can't do it by myself. We've had some great conversations before we got on here, which I'm very excited about. First off, we're going to talk to the man who is escaping the forest with the Philadelphia Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Prince Dior. What's good, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Good to see everybody. Really excited to jump into what we got to jump into today. We got some hot take Tuesday stuff going on, so I've been excited for that for like 2 weeks.
I like it. I'm excited. And then next up, we have the man who's very sad in the hockey season. Welcome to the club of the sad hockey fans who got beat by Edmonton this year. We got Joey. What's good, buddy?
It's good, man. I feel like I'm a regular on this show every now and then, so like it's good to be here again.
Yeah,
805.
you're like the final 4.5, basically. Rename the show. He's, of course, filling in for Vondre and filling in for Bray today. We have my Gorilla Booking podcast partner, the man who loves himself some good cheese pizza. We got Joe the Demented Wolfgang. What's good, buddy?
I am here on location at Steakquan's, so we got to appreciate a good Philly cheesesteak up in this place right here. So
Steakquan's
it's the only way
great.
you eat one proper.
Yeah.
It's Geno's.
Yeah, I
They
know.
took over Geno's. They didn't take over Pat's. They took over Geno's.
Yeah, fuck that.
Now, who's closer to that place, Joe or Jay?
Jay is.
Jay? Are you going to make a
Jay
trip over there?
Jay lives like Jay lives like 20 minutes east of me.
Okay.
Ish. 20, 30 minutes east of me.
Yeah. So if I want to like hit the Philly border, I'm about 5 minutes. Not even like 5 minutes walking, like 2 minutes driving. So
are you gonna head down there for the Madden thing? Are they doing something special or just they
already
just
over.
decorated? Oh, it's
I have
already over.
no clue. I have no clue.
It was yesterday.
What did they do?
They just set it all up like this. They did a little ad work, and Saquon actually slung cheesesteaks.
Really?
Oh, really?
That's
That
pretty
shit
cool.
would have been fucking dope to go to. Yeah,
That is pretty cool.
Jay would have went if he would have known.
I'm
Jay always
orange,
goes to
man.
this
These
shit.
fucking cats, dude.
He would have got a
Jesus.
Saquon jersey signed. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that Madden curse doesn't hit him. But anyways,
Yeah,
we're
hope
gonna
it does.
start off. We're gonna start off because we have the playoffs winding down. Now we're in the championship games. We got the NBA championship starting up tomorrow, I believe.
yeah.
And then we have Stanley Cup starts when, Joey?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Starts
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah.
It's championship season, baby.
And then it's going to be dead right after that. It's just going to be
We also have the UFL starting this weekend. UFL playoffs this weekend.
Yeah, UFL playoffs are starting this weekend. Yep.
And well, yeah, we can't forget about the UFL, the highly rated, highly anticipated UFO playoffs coming up. We can't forget about that.
Y'all can be advocates
all
for
I'm
that shit show.
All I'm saying is, man, if you haven't given it a chance yet,
Hey, this is a good time to watch it because it's like the four best teams facing off.
yeah.
So
I might check it
And
out.
the game,
Only
the
four
game,
teams?
I've said it multiple
yeah, it's
times.
it's the top two
There's
teams from
only
each
5
conference
in the
make it.
league.
It's 8 teams total, so 4 teams make it.
I've said it multiple times over the past few weeks and over the season. The level of play has been very, very good. It's been very good. And if you haven't given it a chance, this is the time to give it a chance, like Joey said, because you got the 4 best teams. And then next year, in the next few years, they're probably going to be doing an expansion where
Adding 2 more teams next year. So
some of your favorite cities are going to get teams. I think that they filed something for the Philadelphia Stars to come back from the USFL. So I'm going to be jumping from the Defenders to them probably.
and I heard Vegas might be getting the Gamblers. I think the Las Vegas Gamblers might be.
That'd be hilarious. I would actually go to a game. I probably would. I
they're
would
cheap.
go, and then it
Yeah.
would be me and nobody. It would just be
It'd be you and like
myself.
3
Well,
people.
no,
It'd be
I
like
mean,
you and 3 people.
Some of the attendance has been good. Battle Halts have been
I
some.
will say, I think St. Louis has been having the best of the
Yeah.
whole season. I think St.
Yeah,
Louis
like
has.
33,000 tickets are sold per game usually.
To be honest, I think Vegas would actually do okay with fans because they
Yeah.
really support a lot of shit out here. They were going to the Aces to see WNBA out here before Caitlin Clark joined the league and made the league anything important. So they're very supportive. But anyway,
And those Golden Knight fans are crazy too out there.
So going into real sports,
I mean, I would be a crazy Golden Knight fan too if my whole team was just top draft picks.
exactly. They lucked into the fucking league so
They
heavy with
did,
that
yeah.
expansion draft.
I've never seen an expansion team get built off of everybody else's back and then go win a Stanley Cup. It's the biggest
Yeah,
bullshit
dude,
ever.
I hate them so much.
Prime example, Seattle Kraken. Seattle Kraken got the short end of the stick.
They were the other one.
Yeah.
And now it's gonna be the Utah.
Yeah, Utah Yetis.
That's
or whatever they call
that
it, Utah
trust.
Mammoths.
That's that trust the process shit right there, man.
Well,
Trust the
Utah's not an
process.
expansion
Because
draft.
that
They're
process
just
actually
Arizona.
works, unlike the fucking
Yeah,
Sixers.
the Sixers process
Yeah.
didn't work. It failed. It has to start over again.
Utah's not an expansion team. They just moved from Arizona, so they're going to keep the same team.
Right. So speaking of hockey, we got Stanley Cup coming up, and of course we're going to start with our senior hockey correspondent, Joey.
Talk about the worst sport ever.
We're gonna,
hockey.
yeah, exactly. I hate hockey. I will love it when it starts back up.
It's just the worst sports all in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas had a shot for
We
a
got
game. And
3
then-
years in a row.
Mavericks. Where's your
Yeah.
where's your Mavericks?
Where's your Sixers?
Oh, we know we suck. That's
we
the
know
problem.
we
We're
suck,
not
though.
delusional.
I never said the Mavericks were good. First of all,
What?
Where's your Mavericks on the
when did I ever
couch?
say the Mavericks were good?
I mean, you made the worst.
Where's your
trade of all
stars
time.
at? Where's your
I didn't make
stars
the
at?
worst trade
Ask
of all
him where
time.
Luca's at. Where's Luca?
Yeah,
He's
Luka's in Cali.
He's in that traffic-ridden cesspool known as Los Angeles.
He's in that beautiful city in
On the
fucking
couch.
state- in
It's
the
with
state
the
of
highest tax
California.
with the highest tax ever.
Club
the highest gas
He's
in
at
the world.
Club Cancun.
He's
So
living
is
his
every
best
member of the
life in most
Flyers and the
beautiful
76ers.
city in the world.
The Flyers are
Okay, well, we don't have to
cheeks,
talk
though.
about. We can talk about
We
the
can save
bird,
that
baby.
for a hot take in a bit. Let's
Yeah.
get our little hockey in here for
Anyways.
a minute. Joey, number one, what went wrong for Dallas? And number two, who do you think is winning the cup?
Well, we're right for Dallas. Let me say that. I mean,
Game
really
one.
good. You never say,
Third
yeah,
period.
game one. Game one, we looked
Game
good. We
one
came
was
back.
nice. Yeah.
We scored all those goals, and then we just looked lost the rest of the series. And Jake Ottinger looked horrible. Like this is three. So the Stars made history being the first team ever to go to 3 straight Western Conference Finals and not making the Stanley Cup. Like that's not good. Like Pete DeBoer. I think Pete DeBoer needs to go. Like I love Pete DeBoer. He's a good head coach, but he needs to get out of Dallas. He's not the answer. And I think Carolina's winning. Or no, not Carolina, Florida. My bad. I think Florida's winning the Stanley Cup because fuck Edmonton.
How many games?
Well, I mean, I think
I'm
it's
gonna
funny.
I'll say Florida in 6.
4 and 6. Go ahead, Jay.
I think it's funny because it's like I think going into it. I mean, once again, I'm new to hockey, but I really got into it in that series, and going into it, the rant and the raven and all the hubble bubble was about Jake Ottinger and how great the Dallas goaltending was. But
He normally is good, but I don't know. what
yeah,
he-
but I mean, from what I saw, it was good for a little bit. I mean, he had some really clutch saves.
dude, that
But
backhanded
after a
save
while,
in
they
game
just
one was crazy.
overpowered. They just couldn't do anything with that overpowered offense.
Dude, you got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. McDavid's the best player in the world.
Yeah,
Like, it's hard to stop
Draisaitl
McDavid. Dude.
was
It's hard to stop him.
Yeah,
Like,
and then Skinner. I mean, his goaltending was impeccable.
why are you looking like that, Joe? You don't think McDavid is the best player in hockey?
I don't think Joe watched.
Not when you have Alex Ovechkin just breaking every single one of
Okay,
Gretzky's
first of all,
records right
Alex
now.
Ovechkin's like 15. He's on the couch right now. All right, Connor McDavid's
Okay,
the best player. in
and you know
hockey.
what? You're so young, you would think LeBron's better than Jordan, and say,
I don't
he's on the
actually.
couch too in the
I
finals.
don't actually.
Also,
I think Jordan's better, but that's
thank
okay.
you. But I'm saying there's
I'm
people in this
thank
world
God
who I'm
Ray's not
replacing
here. He's
today.
going off.
Who I'm replacing today. Hi, Ray.
Yeah. You're the opposite of Bray with fucking LeBron.
No, anyways, Jordan's the GOAT.
You said
Jordan's the
Diddy
GOAT.
wins.
And Jay, who do you think's going to win?
I'm trying to.
Who's
trying to
winning the
move on.
Stanley Cup, Jay?
So here's the thing. It's hard for me to give an honest, unbiased opinion because I've really only watched the Edmonton-Dallas series. And I only really watched game 1 of Florida and the Panthers.
They massacred Carolina, Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really watch. I saw the one game, but I mean, Edmonton looked really strong to me. And once again, I can't really say, oh well, compare it really. But to me, I guess from what I saw, Edmonton I think is going to win. just
Yeah,
based off of that's the only thing I watched.
two great goalies playing in this game, Skinner and Bobrovsky. They're both going to be
Okay.
crazy.
I'm
How
gonna
many
check
games
it out.
do you think
I'm
she'll
gonna
be,
give
Jay?
you a better. I'm gonna give you a better prediction after game one on next Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll come back to we'll put your
Yeah.
prediction on hold. Joe, what have you care at all about Stanley Cup or?
This is going to be the week, and you'll understand that in a second.
Oh my
The
God!
what?
Don't say the
I'm
first part.
The is it an N?
Yeah, no, not
Jesus
no.
Christ,
You'll get it.
Joe.
Yeah, no problem there, bud. But no, Panthers in 6.
Panthers in
Okay.
6. There
See,
we
if
go.
we had Remy, shout out Remy, if he was on the show, he's been talking about Florida Panthers. He mentioned the Florida Panthers in the NHL Discord server.
Also,
And
I want to blame Shawnee P for the
the-
Stars losing because
Yeah.
Shawnee P went for the
Edmonton's-
Stars, so I blame Shawnee. It's his fault.
Edmonton's a good team, but the Panthers,
The Panthers are so
Panthers
good.
are-
They're just,
the Panthers are so well built. Like,
dude, they're so
that's what
good.
it is. It's how well built they've become. And
Yeah.
the best part about it is they are like the Celtics. They were all farmed. It's not like they
Yeah.
were
Well, except for
all
Marchand.
brought-
Marchand came from Boston.
Yeah, but
other
that's
than
who
that-
they built them around.
Right, yeah.
But like they built a whole team around a marquee piece. Like that's
Right.
how you're supposed to do it in hockey a little bit. Like you have you have your marquee starter who actually puts on the fucking show, and then you build this great weapon system around him so that he plays as the captain and just moves the puck however he wants. And that's what you're going to see with the Panthers.
And that's what Edmonton did with Connor McDavid. Man.
That's the best part. They have more pieces.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like
it's crazy.
it's literally going to come down to, and I hate to say like it's always offense versus defense, but it's going to be how bad the Panthers beat on Edmonton's defense. Because one thing about hockey is that defenses break faster in hockey, and how they only rely on the goalie can't do it himself. There's been no team in the NHL where the goalie does it himself as defense. You always need wingers. You always need someone who's coming down and taking some of the brunt of that force of the offense coming down. It's not like you just have one guy standing there in basketball and he's just guarding the fucking, guarding the net, and he's just waiting for the ball to get shot so he can swat it away. It's literally like he's there, and if two guys come down, it's he has to be able to guard both sides of the post of his goal. And that's basically what hockey's for. But at the end of the day, no goalie can do it on his own. And that's the problem, because the Panthers are good at getting the breakaways because they're fast. It's a fast team, and they're good at getting the breakaways. And when they get those breakaways, it's going to be, can Edmonton catch up?
What do you think? How many games for the series in Stanley Cup?
6. I said Panthers in 6.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, Edmonton's good at catching up on leads. They come back on leads plenty of times. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's the problem, though. And Edmonton's been coming from behind for most of the season.
Giggity.
And they somehow miraculously
pause, bro.
I don't know.
Jay, can you get back on camera? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, bro?
Camera.
Well,
We don't
I
wanna
had to
see
get
your
off.
name. What?
Can you give me a second? I had to get off. Hold on. That's how I had to
five-
go pee, and I just got back. Hold on.
You've had 2
All right.
minutes. What about you, though,
Pissed
sir?
in
I
the
thought
woods.
the entire
You could have
time
pissed
Joe
in the
was
woods, homie.
You just fucking.
What do you think
I
about
always,
Stanley Cup?
no reception in the woods.
I use hockey talk. I use hockey talk as my pee break 9 times out of 10.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. We
You
just
become a hockey
started
fan,
the
though,
show.
Jay.
You couldn't pee before the show. We literally just started.
No, don't let him lie to you. He's a hockey
disappeared.
fan now. He's a hockey fan.
No, I like hockey. Cool.
He
I'm
loves
with it.
hockey. He's.
I mean, he
And
did
no, I
he
had
did
to-
the
I had to-
he
I had
did
to
the
write my
he
notes.
did
I
the
woke
fu-
up
he
late.
did the pure Philly thing. I took him to a hockey game one time and we lost.
He's actually mentioned that on the show a couple times.
Yeah, he did
how
mention
went
it,
to a
yeah.
Flyer game with.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the funnest times of my life. It was awesome.
Dude, hockey's so much fun in person. That's crazy.
I didn't believe it because I didn't hear him getting suplexed. So I
No, I
No,
power
no,
bombed somebody. A woman.
I think Joe's more behaved at hockey games.
That's what you believe. Of all places for him to be not behaving.
Right, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
hockey
Yeah,
game,
right.
that would be like
Right,
the
yeah.
perfect place. I'm going with Edmonton in 7. That's how it was
Wow.
last season. Because this is a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup. Jay, in case you don't know, They went 7 games,
and Florida won that one. So
and Florida won that one. They're looking to repeat. So I think this is Edmonton's year. I hate Edmonton. They're like my Chiefs in the
me too.
NFL, and yeah, you're like I'm a new hater.
They're
I
like my
hate them.
Eagles in the NHL.
Yeah, they're the fucking worst. They will never die. They have a big
I mean,
rivalry against the Kings.
by that logic, then Edmonton's going to win the Stanley Cup.
I said
Yeah.
that. I think
If they're your
this
Eagles,
is
then
Edmonton's
Edmonton's
year.
I'm
gonna win
rooting
the
against
Stanley
it.
Cup.
I'm rooting against it. Let's go Florida.
I'm really honestly, I don't care who wins, to be honest.
I mean, I don't
really
care as
don't
long as it's
care.
not Edmonton. So there we go.
I just feel like this is Edmonton's year. They won't die. Even if they are down 3-0 in this series, I feel like they come back 4-3. They've
Connor
done
McDavid.
shit like that in the past in their history.
He's so good.
They're just an incredible fucking team. And Connor McDavid is the greatest player currently playing right now, without a doubt. So I think Florida is an amazing team. I think it's going to be a great series, but I just think it's their year. So we'll see what happens. But tomorrow we got NBA Finals Game 1 and OKC in Indiana. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who probably aren't going to watch because they're not really big markets in sports. Oklahoma City and Indiana aren't known for these great fucking, franchise history making moments in the NBA. They're not like in New York or LA or anything, or Philadelphia for that. So, few questions. One, how many times are you gonna see this fucking shit all the time?
Right. That's all that. When you talk about moments in the NBA, that's like the only one they have.
Yeah, that's it. And it wasn't even an original one. It was just him.
Yeah, and they lost. I think they lost that year with Reggie Miller.
Well, he thought they won, and that was the first game. When he shot it, was a 2, not a 3. So he thought that they won, but they tied.
When Reggie Miller did it, didn't they end up losing that series?
They lost the series. 3 games. Yeah, they lost. They were up 3-1. They lost the series. So they
imagine if Halliburton lost the series after doing that. That'd be crazy.
Oh, that'd be sad.
I loved it.
When you do that, you have to win, bro. You have to win.
You have to make sure you fucking shit's done. So a few questions. One, obviously, who do you think is going to win the series? And number 2, what do you think the ratings is going to be like for this series, considering a lot of hate that SGA is getting for his flopping, and and some people are starting to dislike Indiana and Halliburton, the choke thing, and so is it something that you're going to watch, and you think other people are going to watch, and who do you think is going to win the series? We're going to start with Jay. Jay, what do you think?
I actually, I know a lot of people are not really looking forward to the series as much. I'm kind of looking forward to it just simply because I want to see Oklahoma City get demolished. And I know that's not going to happen, but I just can't stand that team. And I think SGA has a lot to do with it. His style of play is extremely annoying. It's really frustrating to watch, especially, I could imagine if that was happening and it was against the Sixers. So I personally think that, or hoping that, the Pacers take it. I know a lot of people are getting frustrated with Halliburton as well, and his like the choking thing, and like you said, but I love it because it's starting to feel like he's becoming a bit of a villain in the NBA a little bit. Like he's just like that guy who, who's doing this stuff, and he's just like, I don't know. It's starting to look really good. You got two of you got the Golden Boy in SGA, and then you got this kind of villain character in Halliburton. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But I think I'm going to give it to the Pacers in 6.
Pacers in 6. Okay, Joe.
Scenic Drive, Dolphin Dive, Pacers in 5.
There you go.
Pacers in 5. Wow.
Okay.
Halliburton is that, like he said, Halliburton is the villain, but this is where the villain wins. SGA is the Floyd Mayweather of basketball right now. He's going to win, but no one wants to watch how he plays because everybody hated how Mayweather boxed, but Mayweather was good. But that was it. So that's what it is. Yeah. You're about to see if Tyson in his 19-year-old prime is about to punch the lights out of Floyd Mayweather.
And the sad part is about that's a great comparison. And the sad part is about that is, in a way, and I know a lot of people don't like this, especially boxing fans, but in a way, Mayweather killed boxing because of how boring he made it. You know,
And SGA makes basketball boring.
boring. Yeah, and
It
that is
does,
SGA has the potential to do the same thing to basketball.
Okay. All right, Joey, what do you think?
I'm actually gonna go Pacers in 7. I just think OKC's they're still a good team regardless of SGA, how he plays or whatever. But Halliburton's really good, and I just think the Pacers win it in 7. But I'll be watching it. I think the ratings will be probably mid because of OKC.
Mm-hmm.
I just find OKC kind of unwatchable, to be honest, just with all the flopping and everything.
And you're not the only
Well,
person that said that. Bray said it, and a lot of people are saying it.
Yeah.
So it's like a fact that people turn their channels off when they see
And I'm-
SGA at the free throw.
I'm
People
still
just
gonna
wanna
watch it
the
'cause it's-
Pacers. They want to
Yeah,
watch the
yeah.
Pacers
They
beat
wanna watch the
OKC. That's
Pacers.
that's going to be the ratings catch.
And
It's the
I'm still
Pacers
gonna
beating
watch it because
OKC.
I'm still gonna watch it because it's like the biggest like finals and it's the biggest like champion. It's the biggest game in like the NBA, obviously the biggest series or whatever, like championship series.
Yeah.
So
Well,
And it's awesome because when Halliburton catches fire, whew, it's hard to
yeah,
put him
dude,
out.
Halliburton's
Yeah.
crazy,
He gets
and
lit up
Pascal
really
Siakam's
fast.
good. Like Pascal
Oh my
Siakam's good
God,
too.
that's another
So,
one. Unsung
yeah.
hero. He's been taking over the fucking playoffs.
And McConnell's been doing good too. DJ McConnell, I think it's TJ
Off the
McConnell.
Their
bench.
starting five. Their starting five is nasty. Pacers starting five is absolutely nasty.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think is going to happen. I think that
OKC's got the
will
best.
be.
OKC's got a bench though.
I think the ratings are going to be really low, unfortunately, because the playoffs overall have been really, really good up until the conference final. I think OKC wins it in 7. I think their team has been strong all season.
No.
SGA, even though he's Mr. Flippity Flop, he's still a great player. He's still going to put up numbers. They have a well-balanced starting 5. They have great people coming off the bench. I think it's going to be a great series. I'd like to see Indiana win, but I don't know. I just feel like this is the year that OKC has to win it. If they don't win it, then I think it's going to be a problem in OKC because when you have a team like they have had this whole season and you don't finish the job, then there's a problem somewhere. Because even though it's a tough series, they should beat Indiana. Like they really should.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, they shouldn't wipe the floor with them. It's not going to be a sweep or anything, but they definitely should beat them.
I just have a feeling. I
too.
just have the feeling it's like OKC is going to show their game plan, and then the Pacers are going to smother them the rest of the way out. That's why I'm saying in 5. Like OKC wins game 1, and then Pacers just walk them.
But just to slightly backtrack on going back in the playoffs a little bit, like when I think about teams like the Wolves, the only word that comes to mind is just disappointed. I'm just so disappointed with how that went. Just that team has so much talent.
Dude, they have.
I thought the Wolves were going.
They got overpowered. And
I said Knicks and Wolves in the finals, and I was completely wrong.
Well, I mean, my prediction came true, but like I didn't think the series was going to be like that with the Thunder and the Wolves. I mean, that was just sad.
Yeah, they should have been a lot better than that in the playoffs.
And the Pacers have been on this really great run even before the Jason Tatum injury. They were playing Boston really tough too. Like, I mean, Indiana, they're going to be a problem for OKC.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us when we did our
server just.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you see me?
See you, on the other hand, is a little.
Okay.
Seeing you is a little messy right now.
Let's see.
We can see you now.
Okay. My son had my phone, so.
Yeah. The ghost of Mamba has come into your house.
The ghost of Mamba. Okay, I got to make sure my internet's stable because I'm literally just peeling back the curtain for people who don't know. My Wi-Fi here is dog shit, so I'm using my iPhone's fucking hotspot to fucking have any type of internet. So there you go. So hopefully the series is good and it's better than my Wi-Fi because I'd enjoy a great NBA final.
Your spotty Wi-Fi is better than OKC's ratings. Okay.
There you go. That's true.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm the only person picking OKC. Everybody else is picking Indiana. But I do want Indiana to win. But anyways, we're done with the playoff talk. It is Hot Take Tuesday. This episode is basically like a free for all, and you might see a lot more of these later on because once the playoffs are done, it's just be baseball. So of course we'll talk baseball and some UFL. So I know that you guys love your UFL. And then of course
championships, new tweaks.
We're going to start breaking down every little thing in the NFL for no reason because we have nothing else really to talk about.
We'll talk about training camp and OTAs, about how somebody goes 16 or 16.
There's a lot of OTA stuff going on right now.
Shador's like 16 of 16 for 3,000 yards and 60 touchdowns.
Let me tell you something. Shador's doing the damn thing, man. They love him. It's
fucking training camp. Nobody cares.
It's not the point. The point is he had these concerns going into Cleveland and going into any team, like, oh, the team isn't going to love, they're not going to love him, they're not going to rally around him, he's not a good leader.
I do want you to know something, that Shador is practicing with other, like, fourth stringers where he is. So the reason why he's playing so good is because he's playing against fourth string defense.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's getting first team reps.
But that ain't going to last long.
How do you know that? Why is everyone so down?
I could go 16 for 16 and no contact, too.
That's what I'm saying. They're not even have pads on yet.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I
go 16 for 16
and no contact.
Joe Flacco has sung his, and that's a big thing. Joe Flacco sung his praises and said he's been awesome to work with.
Joe Flacco's a bum too.
He's a legend.
They're all bums. He's a legend. You were talking shit about him not that long ago.
When I say
this dude was out of the league for like 3 years.
Do you think that Joe Flacco could go into the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not a Hall of Famer.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm saying when I say
wait. Do you think Jalen can go into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts will.
I'm asking the Cowboys fan that. So just okay.
Yes, Jalen Hurts will. He'll probably be.
Okay. Under what premise? Yeah. Under what premise?
I mean, he'll probably have multiple Super Bowl wins, probably a couple MVPs, you know.
Okay. So as it stands right now, you're talking about his future.
He's like
because
20,
as of right now, Joe Flacco and him are current. Yeah, but right now, Joe Flacco and him are currently the stand. They both hold rings. You know, Joe Flacco's Stanley Cup. Joe Flacco's Super Bowl playoff run was literally Joe Montana levels insane.
I wouldn't put him in the same category as Joe Montana.
No. Do you remember Joe Montana's playoff run? Do you remember Joe Montana's playoff run?
I think Joe Flacco had no interceptions leading into the Super Bowl.
My point is that Joe Flacco is one of those guys that every team he's on, the team loves him as a leader. Joe Flacco has sung Shador's praises as a leader, as a guy to work, as a person, not as a player, and that's a whole different situation. But that was the main concern, right? The main concern was
being a good person is not going to win your football games. You got to be a good football player.
Wasn't the main concern that he was cocky and he didn't know this and he didn't do that?
I'm glad he's finally maturing. Congratulations.
I think that was his dad, not him.
No, it was him. It was him. It was him. It wasn't his dad.
No. I feel like his dad gassing him. No, I'm saying his dad was gassing him up. His dad was gassing him up going through there. And then
got his head big, big head.
And then the draft was his humbling. And now he's leveling up.
I will say, going back to the draft talk, I will say him going in the 5th round was kind of crazy. I didn't think he would drop that far at all.
No. He should have went 3rd at the latest.
At the worst for me, he's a late 2nd rounder. I mean, calling him a 5th rounder is
I would have said late 2nd, early 3rd, just based off of everything.
But that's insane.
And 5th round is diabolical.
These NFL teams are going to be kicking themselves because the Browns are going to end up having a good quarterback, a solid quarterback in Shador Sanders.
I hope so. I mean, as much shit as I give you about Shador, I hope he does. I hope he does well in the NFL.
I hope he does well, and I hope he does what Jalen Hurts does. And yes, it always does come back to Jalen Hurts.
See what I'm talking about every time.
No.
Defy the haters. Defy the haters. I guess.
I hope he does. I hope he does what Jalen Hurts does and proves people wrong year after year after year.
But there's nothing else for Jalen Hurts to prove like people wrong. He won a Super Bowl last year.
He's still
his next thing to prove is he's not a one-trick pony. It wasn't just a fluke.
Because here's the deal.
But he's not a fluke though. He's already fucking been successful with the team. They're still a good team. I actually picked them to win the Super Bowl again. I think there's no reason for people to just shit on him for like whatever reasons that Dior's saying or whatever.
But they do. I mean, like I said,
who's they? Where are you seeing these reports?
Is there a way to screen share? Hold on. Is there a way to screen share on this?
You don't need
This
to
isn't
screen share with your fucking. This isn't Discord. We don't need to see links. Just
Okay, well, that's what
explain
you're
it.
asking me a question, right?
And
You're asking me a
answer it.
question.
Where are you seeing it online then?
Yes, it's all over the place.
All over
People,
the place.
yes, so people still are talking about how he's not top five. So somebody said he's not top 10 the other day. People still talking about this, how he's overrated, how he's the bummiest quarterback to win a Super Bowl. This is what
Funniest.
people are
That sounds
saying.
like
I'm not
you're
making it up.
reading
I don't want
message
this to be the
boards.
case.
You're reading
Bray
message
says it every
boards.
day.
Who?
Bray.
Well, yeah, he also hates fucking bone-in wings. Like the fuck? And bacon.
What about Paul?
and he
Paul
eats limp
Bacon?
bacon. He's limp bacon too. So I mean, he eats limp bacon. So you can't really trust him.
I mean, what?
I got people saying that Matt Stafford and Jared Goff are better than Jalen Hurts.
I mean, Matthew Stafford is better than Jalen Hurts. That's just me. But
Goff is better than Stafford.
Stafford is better than Jalen Hurts. That's just me.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
That's not discrediting Jalen Hurts. If you look at playoff performances,
So
everything how they played.
Stafford on the top 5. That's
Stafford's
No,
top.
yeah, top
Stafford.
5. No, Stafford's not.
No,
top 5.
Stafford's a top 10 quarterback. Who said he's top 5?
If Stafford's better than Jalen Hurts and Jalen's top 5, then how would Stafford be better than Jalen Hurts if he's not top 5?
Who says Jalen Hurts is top 5?
He's the better.
That's usually the argument we do. I said he's number 5, a top 5, and
who are your 5 quarterbacks?
Dog, we've been through this. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Is this in order?
Huh? No,
is this in order?
This isn't in order. Okay. I can go in order. I'll say interchangeably Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. Then you got Lamar. Well, I don't know. Lamar Jackson could be up there too, but we'll talk about that. Then you got Lamar Jackson. Then you got Pat Mahomes, who's probably, I would say, number 1, or
he is number 1. He's number 1.
Yeah. So and then you got Jalen Hurts at number 5 to me. But people want to put Justin fucking Herbert in.
I don't get the Justin Herbert. I don't understand.
People want to put Justin Herbert and Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. It doesn't make any sense.
It does. And here's how this is the only stat line people care about when it comes to quarterbacks. And that's where we as Philadelphia Eagles fans have to sit there and debunk the whole thing. When people look at quarterbacks, all they look at is yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. They're the 3 stat lines that they only look at, right? And then you go into, and it has to be throwing touchdowns, not rushing touchdowns, throwing touchdowns. So when you look at it, Patrick Mahomes, number 1, 400 yards, 30 touchdowns.
I mean, he also has
17 interceptions.
So, I mean,
But then you put Lamar Jackson up there, you put Josh Allen up there, but neither of them have seen a chip.
But they've been the multiple AFC title games,
and everyone's seen a chip.
But then what happens, Joe, is that when you say that,
Joe Burrow is a gunslinger, and he also has the best 1-2 wide receiver combo.
Well, what happens, Joe, when you say that to people, the argument becomes, oh, well, they don't have as much around them. So
are y'all basing your top 5s off of Super Bowl wins? Because so Matthew Stafford's up there.
No, it's a combination, and I've explained this before. It's a combination of efficiency and wins.
Yeah, the thing is that you have to take everything that the quarterback does. That's why Lamar Jackson interchangeably can be number 1 with Josh Allen, because they are dual threat quarterbacks, just like Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. The problem is Joe Burrows, Justin Herbert, fucking Pat Mahomes, they're not dual threat quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is taught and raised to throw over you and to throw on you and to throw at you. He was never taught to run. He was never taught to honestly do that. Can he run? Yes, because he's a big guy and he's hard to tackle. He's like Ben Roethlisberger. But Ben Roethlisberger was a gunslinger. He was never taught to run. But when he had a break 3 and run past the line of scrimmage, he was a hard person to tackle, and he would get 2 to 3 yards. People design plays around Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and fucking Jalen Hurts to make sure they have RPOs.
Well, it's funny because the narrative is that I'm reading is, that the Chiefs don't respect Jalen Hurts. That's why they didn't work on trying to stop him, and it was all about respecting Saquon Barkley and stopping him.
If that was the case, we never respected Kansas City either. Because guess what? What was our blitz percentage?
Right. Right. None. I mean, I don't think we blitzed at all.
It was 0% into the fourth quarter.
It's a blitz at
We
all.
never
See, here-
blitzed. Our front four walked all
Well,
over them. That's
I don't have a hot
disrespectful.
take right now, but I got some breaking news. The Knicks have fired Tom Thibodeau. So there's that. There's your news
That's
for you.
interesting. But
I'm
here's
Thibodeau.
here. Let me say something here. The top 5 in NFL quarterbacks, the 4 that were mentioned, we all agree should be there. Josh Allen, Burrow, Pat. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lamar. They could all interchange whatever. I really honestly think that 5th spot could be anybody. You could put Hurts there. You could put Stafford there. You could put Goff there, depending on just how they're playing this upcoming season. There isn't a set 4. There's a set 4. There's not a set 5. So it's hard to say like for sure it's 5 when you have other quarterbacks who have either the same numbers or they won a Super Bowl, or when you look at their overall stats, there isn't much of a difference really when you get
And
in
if
there.
you were to put overall touchdowns, it's a completely different ballgame. But then you're going to have to discredit Jalen Hurts because fucking 70% of his rushing touchdowns are 1-yard tush pushes.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Right.
That's a
But guess
design
what?
play.
It's a design
And
play.
yeah, I don't
Right.
to
And that's
me,
what
I
I'm
don't
trying to get
discredit
at.
that. It's part of the game.
No.
It is what it is.
The people would discredit it.
No, I know.
Because
Yeah,
I mean,
people
it
don't
just
like
took
that shit,
20,
yeah.
22 teams tried to discredit it,
And
you
guess what?
fucking
And guess
failed.
what? And guess what? And guess what, Server? Those same people discrediting that are the same people with the Jalen Hurts narratives. It's just like, it's this, oh, well, all he does is tush push. And without the tush push, Jalen Hurts isn't shit. Without Saquon, Jalen Hurts isn't shit. Without Devontae and AJ, Jalen, it's always Jalen Hurts isn't shit. That's where it always ends. It's
But
just
here's
like,
the thing.
why?
I think a lot of the things that you read is more like either message boards or just opinion pieces, because the stuff that I
what are we
see.
supposed
Hold
to be
on. The stuff that I see is like national sports shows, like ESPN, Fox, whatever. No one is shitting on Jalen Hurts that I
Bro,
see.
because they're
Pat
still going to
McAfee
go
show.
off of, they're still, Nick Wright.
You're not going to shit on a large market team.
Yeah, I mean, why would
That's
they
not
do that
true
with
at all.
ESPN?
That is not true at all.
I mean,
No.
my
When you
thing
think
is
about it,
public-
a successful large market team, ESPN's not going to shit on. That's making them money.
There's
Just
nothing
anybody.
wrong
They're
with.
not-
I mean,
look,
my thing is this:
no one-
you're
I'm
looking
saying
at
Hurts
if you're looking
specifically,
at
not
stuff
the
like
team.
that. If you're looking at stuff
yeah.
like that, people they're gonna go off of the Eagles just won the fucking Super Bowl, so there's only so much you could say like about on a network like ESPN or Fox. But like I'm talking about public perception here.
The
It's like
public perception is just you guys won the championship. So
I mean,
what more
the public
needs to be
perception is
talked
like
about?
me. Like, we're just regular
They
people
think
that
it's
talk
bullshit.
shit. That's
Even
what
though
it
we
is. I
put
mean,
even though we put 40 points on Kansas City, they still believe it's bullshit.
Who believes it's bullshit? I don't see any of that anywhere.
I don't
You
either.
might be pulling up websites that no one's ever fucking heard of, Jay. And it's like this
websites. It's
person
not
said this.
websites.
It's opinion piece. I can
it's
make
public.
a
It's
website
people.
and fucking say that.
It's people.
All I'm
in-
saying
it's
is the
people-
Eagles dominated
it's
the Chiefs
people
and
in-
like
It's people in Facebook groups and
Facebook groups. It's
Instagram
opinion
groups.
piece. Is what I'm saying.
With,
It's opinion pieces, yes.
It's all
Opinions.
opinion. What do you
No,
mean?
but that doesn't mean shit.
But
That's
what
just somebody
what he's saying is the
got you
people in the
upset.
Facebook groups they're just like us. We're just
That's
average
us.
people who talk sports. Like we're not
Okay,
like
okay, great. But why
Yeah.
why is it the only opinions that matter are the opinions of ESPN and Fox?
because they know what they're talking about more
Because
than
they're
we
fuck
do.
they
players and
don't.
shit. They're people who are former players.
the,
They're
the
pe-
ESPN
former
and
players
Fox
know
don't
more
care whether
actual
they just go off of what the
Except
fuck's
Skip
happening.
Bayless. Skip Bayless, fuck you.
The former Skip
Yeah.
Bayless is a bitch.
and
But
Stephen A.
the
And
former
Stephen A.
player,
too. He's an
yeah,
asshole.
the former players know more about sports than we do.
And the reason they're talking about it is because it's news. They're not just talking about it just to talk about it.
Ryan Clark is a former player. Doesn't know fuck. What are you talking about?
He doesn't know fuck
Here's
about
a
what.
guy. Chris Collingsworth. Here's
Like
a
Chris
guy.
Collinsworth. Here's a
Doesn't know
guy.
fuck about anything.
He knows more about sports than we do because he plays in it.
Listen.
No, he
Listen,
doesn't.
as a avid Philadelphia fan, Tony Romo can eat my balls. But as him as
course.
commentators, because
He's a
he
great-
breaks
He's
down
a great commentator.
He's
him
a
breaking
fantastic
down the
commentator.
plays, like he's a fan, and that's what I think that's what the level we're getting at. When you have someone who's a diehard for the game, speaking on the game, it's some of the best work
So-
you can see.
You know who's a good commentator?
let me
Greg
ask
Olsen.
you-
Tom
let me
Brady
ask you a
took
quick
his
question.
job.
Except when you are
Let me
Charles
ask a
Barkley
quick
and
question.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Let me ask a quick question. Okay, so when people talk about the Eagles this, the Eagles that, right? And then they say, well, it's not the Eagles, it's the fans, right? Okay, so we're the problem. We're the reason why the Eagles get a bad. We're the reason this, that, the third. but like fans of other teams are having these horrible like opinions about the Eagles, and that's what I'm touting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I mean. It's like, yes, opinions. The fans can be the detriment of the Eagles, but the fans of the Cowboys or the fans of the Commanders or the fans of other teams are the same way towards us. And that's the reason why I'm talking about people talking about this stuff.
But you're like, just talking about a bunch of nobodies who just have opinions. Like, it's just, you're just talking about nobody.
Everyone who's reporting on ESPN they're just analysts who have opinions too.
Because they're not even talking about, opinion. No one is saying any, for me, watching sports, watching ESPN, watching fucking Pat McAfee, watching all these different shows, no one is saying anything negative about Jalen Hurts that I have seen. You are saying people in Facebook groups and all that, who gives a shit? No one publicly, nationally is saying there's no story there.
Nick Wright never said anything negative about Jalen Hurts?
Oh, yeah, Nick Wright's a clown. Nick Wright's a clown.
Okay, so Nick Wright's a clown, but he's on a national network, so he doesn't count.
What did he say recently?
What did he say? I didn't say he didn't count. I just said he's a clown.
He's a clown, but you're trying
Wright
to say his opinion
has
means
been
more
a hard
than regular
stance
people.
against. Well, Nick Wright's always been a hard stance against.
Honestly,
not just Philadelphia, but the Northeast.
He's been a hard
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless.
What have they said?
Wait a minute.
No. I get you. I get you.
Oh, the people on the national network, but these guys are on national networks. But because you think they're clowns,
do you know? Hang on, Dior. Do you know what team Skip Bayless roots for?
Of course he's gonna
talk about Jalen Hurts. I do the same thing.
So what the fuck?
Why does he have to show biasness?
What are you talking about?
Why is he showing biasness?
I don't know. I don't know why he shows biasness. He shouldn't.
So what's the difference between him and a Joe Schmo in a Facebook group?
Because he's talking about it because there's a reason.
Joe Schmo in the Facebook group probably played more minutes in the NFL than Skip Bayless.
I'm so confused. Because we're saying, well, we don't see it on national networks, but I just gave multiple national analysts who said it,
and they talked about them during the season. There's nothing
you did. I mean, to be fair, you did pick the two worst analysts of all.
Yeah, but guess what? That proves that bad analysts on national networks exist, and there are national networks.
Okay, look, I'm just gonna say that Stephen A. Smith's not the best analyst, but he sung the praises of Jalen Hurts.
Okay, that's fine and dandy. But
Stephen A. Smith's also an anti-Cowboys fan too.
Ryan Clark has talked highly about Jalen Hurts.
Analysts on on national networks aren't biased and don't have opinions. They
do.
Marcus Spears has talked highly of Jalen Hurts, and he's a former Cowboys player.
Okay, so what counts and what doesn't? Well, because we don't like Skip Bayless and Nick Wright, they don't count.
Let me explain it a little bit better so you understand what I'm talking about. I'm not saying none of these guys never said anything bad about Jalen Hurts or the Eagles. I'm telling you now, recently, the season's over. No one is talking bad.
Nick Wright still does. Yes, he does.
Okay, because Nick Wright is he says bad shit about everybody.
He's a national analyst.
That's one person. There isn't any news where people are talking about Jalen Hurts saying that he's not good. Well, yeah, because it's the offseason.
Why the fuck would they talk bad about Jalen Hurts now?
Because people still talk football.
To the Super Bowl server, literally up to the Super Bowl, up to the fucking Super Bowl, they said that Jalen Hurts was going to be the reason that the Eagles lost. He was
imagine winning a Super Bowl. Your team wins a Super Bowl and still act like they haven't won and they still have things to prove. Like that's how you act.
So Jalen Hurts has the season he has, and up to the fucking day of the Super Bowl, you still got. Now you see how dominant they were, and you got the Chiefs fucking shit in the bed, almost losing games that they should win. And you see how dominant they are. Up to the Super Bowl, every analyst on ESPN, that's that picture where he looked up and was like, okay. Every analyst said that he was going to lose. And they said if they make Jalen Hurts throw the ball.
So this isn't an argument. You're talking about things that happened months ago. If they make Jalen Hurts throw the ball,
then the Eagles will lose because he will be the detriment of the Eagles. Up until the Super Bowl.
You would think if you were right, Dior, if you were right, not Nick Wright, but if you were right about your take right now, you would think there'd be other people like Joe, like Andre, these Eagle fans that would say, you know what, he is getting shit on.
Jalen always gets shit on. I always say Jalen always gets shit on. Listen.
He's not getting shit on.
Listen, I just told you. I just said earlier in the thing. They discredit Jalen Hurts because they think he's a one-trick pony, and this Super Bowl was just a fluke.
But who's saying he's a one-trick pony?
Well, if you're just a fluke, what are you?
Said Dior Reeds?
I think a fluke and a one-trick pony are two different things.
GR reads
Honestly.
Facebook
No,
posts and thinks
a
it's
fluke is a
Doppio
lucky
and has
win,
a whole takeover.
but
A
being
fluke is
one-trick
a
pony,
fluke is like a lucky win, and a one-trick pony is like you only get
the
a one
pony
thing.
is that
There's nothing
all
lucky
he can do
about
is
it,
tush
dude.
push an RPO.
That's
Yeah.
not a fluke
It's
though.
always-
That's not a fluke.
I mean,
He's
No,
still a good
a
player.
fluke
Let's be
and a
real.
one-trick pony.
Oh, okay.
Two
I
things.
thought you were saying a fluke. Because
We're
I
not
said
going
a
to sit
fluke
here
and a
and
one-trick
act
pony
like
are the same
people
thing.
aren't criticizing
No.
Jalen Hurts still after
I
winning
got you.
the Super Bowl.
Just maybe people just don't like
Everybody
him.
gets
Have you ever
criticism.
thought of that? Like maybe they just don't care. Like Bray doesn't care for the city of Philadelphia
Okay,
for
but
some
like,
weird reason.
no, you just don't
So
like
who
the team
cares?
because what's so bad about Jalen Hurts? What did he do?
Oh.
There's nothing. I think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's bad at all.
You got to remember also, you got to look, as a person who has watched both college and NFL, not me, but like Bray does. He's watched Jalen Hurts come up through Oklahoma, Alabama.
He wasn't the best
You
in
know,
college, to be honest.
He won a national
And-
championship and a Heisman.
He didn't win a Heisman in
Oh,
college.
no, he didn't win a Heisman. He won a national
He didn't win a
championship,
Heisman.
though. And
didn't win-
on the bench.
Yeah, he went on the bench. He wasn't starting. Tua won that
He
year.
was on the bench when he won.
Yeah,
he
Tua
was
won
on the
that year.
bench when he won, but he got them there.
Tua got them there.
Wait a minute.
It was Tua.
Didn't he get benched in the national championship game for Tua?
Jalen Hurts did, yeah.
Okay, so did he play before up until that point?
No, I don't
They
think he
both
did.
did.
I really don't. They
No, they
it was
both
like
did.
interchangeable.
So it was
They
both
both played. But he didn't win. What I'm saying is he didn't win the national
He
championship.
didn't
was
do it by
there, yeah.
himself. He didn't do it by himself.
Right.
He
But they
wasn't
both-
the
but they
sole
both
reason
had
they won.
Or
Right.
they both.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And
so
that starts your whole basis on how he's fake or not a good quarterback. Because who else can you name, Patrick Mahomes and all them, who's won other Super Bowls, can say, oh, well, your quarterback got benched in the national championship game for somebody else who gets concussions when he walks through a screen door.
He
Exactly.
never used to. I mean, he never.
Yeah, he
used
never
to.
used to. He never used to until he got to Miami. Then he got fucked up.
Then he led the league in.
But the
fucking
point is that,
concussions.
like, that's the
Yeah.
problem. Like, for instance, like Dak Prescott, when Dak Prescott came out, Dak Prescott was doing good. He had no height that he was going to be a star
Yeah.
quarterback.
He wasn't even supposed to start
No
that year when
whatsoever.
Romo got hurt. Like, I mean,
No.
or until Romo
No.
got hurt.
And then all of a sudden, the real hate came in from Dak is when he got that bloated contract.
Yep.
Like, that's when the real hate started for him, because like he's not worth that amount of money.
he's
And this
not
is
worth
me
it. He's overpaid.
defending-
He's massively
that-
overpaid.
Yeah.
But this is me defending the fact that sometimes the front office, sometimes other outliers stuff create the controversy around the quarterback.
Yeah.
Such as Jalen Hurts did not win a championship, did not quarterback for a championship game, but yet he won a championship. That's not Jalen Hurts'
Yeah.
fault.
And
That is
honestly,
the coach's decision to
Yeah,
make sure
right.
their team wins
And-
the best opportunity.
yeah, and people still have that in their mind, and I think that's the biggest problem. People still have that college Jalen Hurts in their mind. They still have the guy who was drafted, whatever round he was drafted in. I don't even know. He was a
Second.
super late-
He was second round pick. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty late, and people still have all of that in their mind.
It
People
was
have
like
in
the
their mind him
60
going to
something.
the.
It was either
people still
late
have it in
50
their
or early
mind.
I
60.
think it was
going
late
to-
57.
Tom
something like
Brady was a
that.
very late pick too.
People
Tom
still
Brady
have
was
him
number
going to the
99.
Super Bowl
Tom Brady
and
was
losing by
99.
points.
199. 199.
199, yeah, 199.
Yeah, he was very
People
late.
still have all this grained in their mind, so it creates this like, well, Jalen Hurts is overrated thing, and it's like, why is that the case? You know what I'm saying? He does what he has to do. He goes out there, he wins, and I feel like people get so obsessed with stat lines that they forget the point of fucking sports to win.
No one forgets the point.
I think they forget the point.
It's
How
all
would they
or
forget
nothing.
the
Because
point?
we were
He's
arguing in
saying
the Discord,
he's saying it's
literally,
all or nothing.
that stats were more important than wins a month ago.
I wasn't arguing that. You and Bray were.
Here's the thing: the stats
Not
are the
you.
reason why. The stats are the reason why we create a top five. The stats are a reason why that people like we say like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrows, people who have never won a Super
love
Bowl
calling
have
that
been
Joe
to it. Well,
Burrows.
Joe Burrow's been to it, but
He's been to one. Yeah, he's been
yeah.
to one.
yeah, but people like Lamar Jackson,
That's
Josh
why
Allen.
that's why MVPs exist for stats. Stats matter for MVPs.
Yeah.
But again,
do matter for
again, it
MVPs.
falls back on the thing. You never see Jalen Hurts in an MVP race
One
because of
time.
the way this one time, and then back then he was slinging. He was
No, it
throwing.
wasn't even so much. Yes, he was slinging, but it was more the fact that he was such a dual quarterback and he was he was like breaking rushing records as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah, and it was right before he hurt his arm.
Yeah, and then he could. But that's what I'm saying. Like Jalen Hurts,
and he went out for 2 games. He
can
lost
do
him
it.
MVP because he was out for 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's proven that he can do it.
Damn, Lamar Jackson.
It's not that he can't do it. So that's why the narrative bothers me, because it's like you guys act like you haven't seen him perform on a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow type level before. You've seen it, but
again,
he plays according to the scheme.
And again, it's also there is some truth to the thing. We have pieces that doesn't necessarily hold him to only throwing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to.
We have a great offensive line that creates holes for the middle of the running backs to be able to get through. It just so happens we have the running back that's on the Madden cover this year.
Yeah. And the thing is, we only had him this year. I mean, people say, well, Saquon carried y'all to the Super Bowl. Well, who carried us to the Super Bowl?
Our offensive line proves that it carries us to the Super Bowl.
Saying, like,
our offensive line.
Super Bowl the first time we went, the first year we had the first Super Bowl Jalen Hurts was in. Who carried us then? We didn't have Saquon. You know?
No, it was our offensive line. It was our offensive line. And then what made us lose our Super Bowl last year or 2 years ago was our defense, and we fixed it. We got a new defensive coordinator. We have a new defensive. We had a new defensive coordinator. We have Guantanamo Bay. We have the Ku Klux Clamps in the back corner.
The Ku Klux Clamps. You're retarded.
Exciting whites.
Okay, so here's. I think that's actually a perfect segue into this top 5 team of all time hot take that Saquon Barkley out there.
I knew it was coming back.
Well, here I'm just so let me rattle down just real quick. I know we have to end soon, but let me rattle down some of the. Let me rattle down some of the stats that
it's gonna shut off just like last time on you.
No, it will actually. I'll say this. I still have the extended time. They haven't taken it away from me, so make sure it's worth it, Jay. And please don't go into stats that are like, you know, the highest snaps in the league and just rank.
No. I mean,
stats,
these stats.
The best block shedding percentage, you know, like
the most blocked field goals.
It's all about points and what they were able to do.
Let's get to the stats.
All right, so
let's go.
The top 12. Now, I want to disclaimer this. I don't, and I'm going to say it again. I don't personally think that they are a top 5 team of all time.
But he's going to defend it right now for 10 minutes. That's what he's going to defend.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prove why it is a debatable topic. Okay, so number 1. They won the most games in NFL history with 18 wins. Now, that has a little bit of an asterisk because they did play one more game than most of the teams that hold those records. Right. But that ties the 07 Pats, the 85 Bears, the heralded 85 Bears. That ties the 84 49ers. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, they won 16 of their last 17 games, ending in probably the most dominant postseason we've seen in recent history, including the Super Bowl, okay? Number 3, most points ever scored in the playoffs. Most scored ever in history, okay? Most rushing yards ever in a regular season plus playoffs combined. And Saquon could have easily won the rushing record if he played that game against the Giants, okay? How about this one? Plus 68 point differential. That's the best since 02, okay? You got plus 50 point differential in the NFC Championship game and Super Bowl alone. That's the best since 2000. Okay, you got plus 12 turnover differential. That's the second best in history. Okay, they set a record for the points scored in a conference championship game. That's 55. They're only the second team since the 1970s merger to not only have the rushing champion, but the number 1 defense as well. That ties the heralded 1992 Cowboys. And on top of all that, despite this narrative, it wasn't some super team of legends, okay? This was a sleeper team that nobody believed in, everyone counted out, and was carefully crafted over years by Howie Roseman. And that's why it's debatable. Those stats that I just rattled off, a lot of them tie or break a lot of the top 5 teams that were mentioned by you and others. That's why I said it's debatable.
Why do
It's
we
not.
like we
It's
all
still not
discussed it?
debatable. A lot of those stats are just
All right.
nobody ever
All right.
talks
Okay.
about those.
Well, where are your
stats.
stats at?
I
watched
already
it.
said all my stats.
I don't need my stats. I watched
I
it.
didn't say I don't need my stats. I already told you the teams.
He also server error is also so old. He got to watch the Lombardi Trophy get raised for the first time.
Bro, I watched the Lombardi Trophy being
That's fair.
fucking made. I'm so old. I watched Lombardi coach.
He was there when he created the blueprint and the design.
He saw Joe Namath win one back in Super Bowl III or whatever the fuck it was.
At Super Bowl I. That was the tickets for 50 cents. I went to the first Super Bowl. Look, the five teams that I've
front row
mentioned
50-yard line, you know,
are just more dominant than the Eagles. There's never been. I haven't heard one person say the Eagles are one of the top 5 best of all time. That team, Eagles team.
Besides,
I've never heard it outside of people who live in Philadelphia. The people who live outside of your area.
No one talks about
the
them
potential.
I got all these stats from a I believe Raider fan on YouTube.
Oh, cool. A
right.
Raider fan.
So
they
he
know
doesn't live in Philadelphia.
Here's the thing.
They're never
Here's the thing.
Wrong.
Here's the thing. If they are on track, they are on track. Okay, that's how you have to look at it. They're on track. If this happens again this year and we win another Super Bowl, we're looking at a dynasty.
That doesn't work. That's not.
Hold on.
That's the problem. You're not talking about the same team.
Yeah, you're not saying the same thing.
Yeah, it's a different team because y'all lost pieces.
Yeah, it has to be the 24-25 Eagles being top 5.
It'll never be like that because the 93, 94, and 95 Dallas Cowboys were never the same team either.
Well, we're talking about 92, not 93.
We're talking about 92
Cowboys.
No, because 93, you won the chip in 92. Your 93 team was
doesn't matter.
It's 92, 93 season is what they're saying.
The whole thing is whether the 2024, 2025 Eagles are top 5. That's
and they're talking about 92, 93 Cowboys.
Is ever the same, but no team is ever the same.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But they're talking about that one specific year, though, of 92, like the 92, 93 season.
So you're saying the 92 Dallas Cowboys,
like the 92, 93
teams
season
ever.
Yes, one of the top 5. Yeah, well, that's what.
85.
No, that's what I'm asking.
Right? Yeah. 85 Bears, 85, 86 Bears. That season was great.
Which, by the way, they have the same amount of wins as the 85 Bears.
Yeah, they're not talking about like two different. Talking about that one 92, 93
The 85
season.
Bears has the greatest defense of all time. The Eagles doesn't even match up to that. That's not even an argument. Jim McMahon was the quarterback. He wasn't that great, but they had a guy named Walter Payton that wasn't that bad either. And there's no
Walter Payton's probably one of the best running backs.
Worse than fucking Saquon Barkley.
Walter Payton's better than Saquon. Honestly.
Like, give me a break. Like, you have to look at it. You have to look at it overall. Like, Walter Payton was a bad man back then, and that defense
Walter
was
Payton
even
was
better.
A fucking man. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. He's a legend. But the problem is,
and that team was fucking amazing, and they won a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, I mean, no one's listen.
But the Eagles don't even have that same type of aura at all. The
Bears have had some amazing running backs. Gale Sayers, that's some amazing running backs back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Walter Payton. But I'm not saying that the Eagles team is better than the 85 Bears. But what I'm saying is in a few categories that I listed, they tied the 85 Bears.
So, let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest with me. Out of those 5 teams that we were talking about, where would you put the Eagles in that list? Who do you think they're better than on that list?
I think we're talking about top teams of all time. I don't think they end up on the top 5. I think they might be they could be like number 7 or so. But we can make with everything I just said, and I feel like I'm the only one who came with.
Who can you make? Who can you make an argument that they're better than on that list out of all those teams? The Bears, Steelers, whoever's on that list.
Since you said it's debatable, that's your argument.
I would have to. So what I'd have to do is, unfortunately, I'd have to, which I'm not prepared yet with, but I'd have to go back and look at the stat lines of those teams and see like what they did and how dominant they really were.
Well, the 85 Bears is the best defense of all time.
I don't want to get and I'm not doing that to avoid the question, Joey. I just don't want to give you a.
No, I got you. I got you. No, yeah, I appreciate it. I got you.
But
you can do it next week. You can do it next week.
Once again, I'm not claiming that this is true. I'm just I know Saquon said it, and then I heard other people on YouTube and TikTok and different platforms support it with these facts that I laid out here. And these facts, they matter, regardless of if we want to say they're throwaway stats. The the plus 68 point differential, best since 02. That matters. That's contributed to them winning the fucking Super Bowl.
But best since
So,
02, that doesn't like a lot of the teams we mentioned were before 02.
the 07 Pats were undefeated.
So they lost in the Super Bowl.
Bears also had Mike Singletary, which was Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
Yeah.
85 Bears
One of
were
the best
the
linebackers of all
greatest
time.
defenses ever.
And
the only
Richard Dent led in sacks.
yeah.
Yeah, Richard Dent.
And then having the number one running back in the league plus the number one defense in the league, that's also very impressive.
Yeah,
that's the
why
first
they're
team
one
to
of
do
the
that
best teams ever because that team
that's the
was
best team to
great.
do that. What is that? The first team to do that since
They only gave up
Eagles.
100. The Bears defense only gave up 198 points with 4,135 yards.
There you go, Joe.
What
What are those stats? What are those
pretty
stats,
sick.
Dior? How many yards did the Eagles defense give up last year?
Yeah.
And like
I
points
don't
or
know.
whatever.
Joe,
And like
I
points
don't
or
know.
I don't know. I didn't write that down.
Yeah,
but
you go ahead,
I
Joe.
can
You're
figure
fine.
it out.
Yeah, do that. When we need stats, go ahead.
I mean,
go
you can
for
do
it.
that, Joe. You can do that for sure. You can see how many
It doesn't look
points,
as bad when
yards.
there's three other guys with you. When it's just me and
here
you,
we
it
go.
looks
Here we go.
horrible.
Look, this is the second team. Once again, let me say this one again. The second team since the merger in the 70s, since 1970, to have not only the rushing champion but the number one defense as well. That ties the 92 Cowboys. That's big. That's a big thing. That's not.
Well, it doesn't beat the 92
unprecedented.
Cowboys. So pipe down, all right.
You know what I'm saying? So my point is like
Emmitt Smith's still better. All right.
If your stats and your records are lining up with these teams that you call
They're
top
not
five,
lining up, though.
agree they're top five. Why can't you talk about?
I feel like Dior partially believes this, but he's just saying he doesn't. Like he's not counting him at the top
No,
five.
because he believes it. No. What
many,
I'm
Joe?
saying to laugh at it.
Right a little bit over 5,000 yards.
So they give up more than the 85 Bears.
Yes, they gave up more.
Yeah.
So that
And
means they're not better than the 85 Bears.
they also gave up 104 more points.
So they're not better than the 85 Bears. We can scratch them off there.
It's not that they're
The defense, I should say, the defense.
The Eagles defense for the 24 season was the closest to get to the Bears ever. That's what it is. That's why he's saying that's the debate. Because the
01 Ravens or whatever.
Close.
Oh wow.
01 Ravens aren't even close, is what he said. They're literally saying that if you were to take the top defenses, 85 Bears, 2024 Eagles is the next in line.
I don't know.
That's what they're saying. That's what I'm reading when it comes to stat lines.
I don't know about that because I know that Ravens defense with Ray Lewis and fucking
Hey, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to jump off a little early. I was supposed to go see a car, so I have to go do that.
Go do your thing because we're about to end it anyways because I think we're kind of maxed out on everything.
5,100, 5,100.
5,100.
5,100 yards. They gave up 5,100 yards. 2001 Ravens defense.
Was it 2001 or 2000?
So the Eagles gave up less.
It was 2000. It was 2000 Ravens.
2000. 2001. No, 2000.
Well, it was 2001 season. Yeah, it was 2000.
What was? I also want to know what the turnover differential was on that Ravens defense. I have to be a very interesting stat to look at because I mean, if you're like forcing turnovers at will, which the Eagles did this past year, like that makes for a very strong defense, dude. I mean, like that can definitely be a driving factor for this debate.
Well, we could dig into that next week. That'll be our homework assignment. We can do another hot take Tuesday.
Yeah,
but,
please. I love you guys. I got to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys next time. Okay.
All right. Jay's leaving. We're all leaving. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Follow us on social media. Look, it's a podcast. You can see all of our shows. You can see me and Joe talk wrestling. You can see me and Pittman talk King of Queens. You can see me yapping. I had dropped a new episode late last night. That's up for people to watch if you guys like to see a 50-year-old man talk to himself. That's be a great show for you.
I have
Joe, final
top 10 defenses.
All right, let's hear top 10 defenses before we go. I always have.
All right, real quick. I'm going to spit them off real quick, even though we lost eyes. Number 5, the 2000. Let me up to number 10. Sorry. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Number 10, 2004 Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Campaign for a 9-7 season. League low of 4.3 yards per play.
Let's pick up the pace.
Number
We don't
9.
want a breakdown of each one.
Number
Let's go with
9.
the top
Hold on,
10.
Number 9, 2015 Denver Broncos.
Yep, that was
There
a
you
good
go.
one.
Number 8, the 1969 Kansas City Chiefs. Number
Still remembers
7,
that year.
number
That was a good
number
year.
7, the 1986 New York Giants.
That was a good
Number
one.
6, the 1969 Minnesota Vikings.
I don't know that defense. Wasn't alive.
Number 5, the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That was a
good.
solid defense. That
That
was
was
good.
good.
Number 4, the 2000 Baltimore Ravens.
Great
Yep,
defense.
That's the
Number
one.
3, the 1991 Philadelphia Eagles.
That was a good defense too.
Number 2, the
Reggie White.
1976 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep, Steel Curtain.
Steel curtain, yeah.
And then number 1, obviously, the 1985 Chicago Bears.
Yeah, they're untouchable. I'm telling you. Like they're automatic. They're set in stone in top 5. And
Oh, there is no defense better. There was no defense better. I mean,
There's no debate. You can't debate a team.
In order to match the same stat lines as the Chicago Bears, you would have to at least have, like, in 5 of your games, literal shutouts.
Yeah.
Right.
Like your defense would have to literally shut out 5 teams in order to even scratch the surface. Because you got to think about it, how many games they played versus how many games we play now.
Yeah.
You're going to gain an extra game worth of those yards. So you need to at least have 2 games that are little shutout games where they don't even get 100 yards in order for you to even get close to those stat numbers.
No defense touches that Bears defense. It's insane. And
Well,
we're not even Bears fans talking about this for anybody watching. We're not even Bears fans. So.
Yeah, we're not even Bears fans, even though it might sound like it. But anyways, thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week, but we'll have more hot topics. And if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about, put it in the comments below. We'll definitely talk about it as long as it's sports related. And we'll see y'all next time. Have a good rest of your day.